Hi, I'm Dave from MKDVB, and today we're going to be using the SSL Big Six in a summing mixer situation for the first time. I really want to see how it compares to the Cranborne 500R8, which is my normal kind of mixed down summing mixer piece of kit. Specifically, I want to see how the workflow compares to the 500R8, how fast I can spin up a mix, as well as, of course, sound quality. So let's get started. We're setting up the SSL summing mix buses here for the first time. I've gone ahead and created quite a few channels here. Here are the mono channels, super analog. I've gone in and I've added a dither to when I'm setting out. I want to have a dither plug-in so that way we have cleaner sound coming into the DA converters. Let's go ahead and drag that into our summing internal bus. Bus 5 and 6, these are stereo buses. So these are the stereo channels, right? They don't have quite the same amount of functionality. They're good for stereo synths, good for effects if I want to send effects out. And then I went ahead and created channels for the external bus on 1 and 2. You see down here is my old Cranborne 500 Audio R8 kind of setup here. And this has all the tracks in it. You can see there's a lot of tracks already. You see bus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I guess for this track I split 7 and 8. And I'm guessing I put bass and drums on either one. So there's bass, and then this will probably be drums down here. So I use those as mono channels. With the 500R8, you only had 8 channels. So it was kind of like picking and choosing, how you split it up or whatever. But the SSL gives us, 4 additional mono channels actually. So if I wanted to, I can mono them directly to these kind of super analog channels. If I wanted to do kind of stereos on the bass and the drums, I can send it to these. Yeah, the extra 4 channels are going to come in handy, I think. And then I have my sum mix here. So this is going to send all the audio out, right, into the Big Six. And then I need to capture that audio back into the DAW. But then when I want to get the sum mix in, that's going to be on channel 15 and 16 here. That'll be coming in from the SSL. And then I have my kind of standard go-to summing mix plugins, the SSL G Buss Compressor. So I won't be using this for this mixdown for obvious reasons. I'll be using the onboard G Buss Compressor. Let's get started by moving our tracks into the appropriate buses. Now, on the 500R8, I would spend a bit of time trying to figure out which buses needed to get which tracks, which one sounded best because the modules were so different. But with the Big Six, because most of the channels are uniform, really the only decision you have to make is which ones are mono and you're going to get the super analog treatment, and then which ones are stereo and just going to stay kind of basic EQ. So let's take a look at what we have here. It's been a while since I've mixed this track, and so I just kind of have to get reacquainted again. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn off all of the effects. Right, so because I want to do a top-down type of mix, I want to remix this track basically using the Big Six and not use the same settings that I arrived with previously from the 500R8, right? Just want to see what kind of results I get and how they differ, and then we'll compare the two at the end, right? So, okay, so I moved the drums to bus 1. We want to make sure we got the line switch in here. Turn off 48V. I don't have any mics plugged in. And then we hit this from USB 1 switch to make sure it's coming from the USB. I'm going to keep it, I'm going to turn it down actually. I don't want to blow up my eardrums. And we've got a pan to the left here. I'm going to go ahead and make it stereo. Let's turn off the compressor. EQ's off because there's no light. And the sends are off. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've been jamming this morning, so I'm going to turn off all these switches here. I'm going to reset them as we add in our sources. It's the first time, so I want to make sure I'm kind of, doing it correctly. Got to mute all of my sources, and then, yeah, let's hit play and see. So I've got some signal coming in. I guess I'll control it from the DAW here. I'll take all the buses down -3 as I add them in. Yeah, so there are the drums. Go ahead and stop that. Let's add in the bass onto bus 2. Okay, so bus 2, turn on the dither. right? We're not turning on our effects yet for the track itself, just the dither for the DA converter, right? And I'm gonna do -3 on the volume there. So I have my headphones in, and I can see here that I'm actually hearing my summing mix internal bus here. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear it coming from my onboard channel 15 and 16 here. So let's do that. There we go. So all I'm hearing right now is drums. So for the bass, if I want to hear bass, I gotta turn on from USB 2. Let's make sure we got all of our ducks in a row here. Let's turn down the gain all the way. Everything is off. Let's pan it to the middle. Hit the USB 2 switch, and now I've got my signal. It's muted. Bring it up. Bring it up to unity on the mixer there. And let's do that with the rest of the channels. Looks like the matriarch is in mono, but then I sent it through some effects that are in stereo, the UAFX and the microcosm. The reverb is probably going to be in stereo. It's the Prophet X here. It looks like I recorded 2 versions here. One was mic'd live, and then the other one was just direct in. It seems like I settled for the direct in. So let's go ahead and get rid of that track so I don't confuse myself. So it looks like I have 4 or so main tracks, it looks like. The next one is going to be, let's say, the Pro 3, right? I don't know. We have these mono channels, so we're probably going to have to pan these. 3 and 4. Since the Pro 3 is the lead track, we're going to go ahead and send that to the most featured channels up here. So I have this bus 3 and 4 separate as mono channels, but since I'm just going to turn them into stereo channels, convert them into stereo, I'm going to delete bus 4, just change this to bus 3 and 4, change it to stereo output. Let's go ahead and turn on the dither, and we're going to take this down -3. We're going to pull those down, unmute those. Same thing as before, turn the gain all the way down. I've got it online, but I've got some high pass filters on there. I'm going to go ahead and disable that for now. And, okay. That's the Prophet X lead taken care of. We can delete this one. So I've got, a lot of these are effects. So I've got chords is one of the main kind of foundational elements. I've got this Moog, so that's 2 foundational elements, and this Pro 3 ARP. So I've got 3 foundational elements. I've got plenty of channels. I've got 4 stereo channels. Maybe I'll leave 1 for effects. Okay, so we'll do the ARP next. Pro 3 ARP, since we're just going to take them in order at this point. Pro 3 ARP. Put on bus 5 and 6. Let's turn on the dither. -3. Okay, so let's pull it up. This thing's getting loud here. I'm pretty loud in my headphones here, so I'm going to turn me down there. Everything's off, so let's go ahead and turn that up. Trim it down. This is already these ones don't have the same super analog preamps, so we can just go ahead and here we go. Next, we're going to take the Moog. We're just going in order now. The Moog's got a lot of effects attached to it as well. That's okay. I'm just going to take them all as a bunch and send it into 7, 8. Turn on the dither. Let's take this down -3. Just going to do this all in a row. Just kind of finish up here. So bus 1 and 2 is done. No tracks left under that. I've got the Prophet X. This is just the intro here. Got the chords here. So let's send that into 9 and 10. Turn on the dither. I keep those chords pretty low. So that's the foundation of the track. And then I've got some effects here. So let's just go ahead and see what this sounds like as I bring them up. The chords are pretty foundational, so let's bring those up first. You can hear those. The Moog, I don't think is coming in yet. Here we go. So we got most of our tracking in there. Just missing the effects, which I'm going to send them all to the 7 to the last final stereo channels there. And then just this little intro bit. Same thing here. Let's turn on the dither. Now normally when I set this up, I would have this all saved. I guess when I'm done with this, if I like the way that it turned out, I will go ahead and save this -3 and the dither on as a template. It looks like I'm all done with these, so I can just delete that. And now all we're left with is the SSL. I guess I'm not going to do anything with external bus 1 and 2, but I'm just going to leave them there. And yeah, let's see what it sounds like from the top. Intro's not playing. There we go. I wasn't going to start with any effects on, but the capital reverb is a reverb for the whole track, so need to have that on. Just as a tape start, it's already recorded in. So yeah, we've got them pulled up on the monitors. I've got them on Unity for now. That may or may not change. The general levels have been set inside the tracker, as you can see with the automations and the curves and stuff. But right now everything's flat. EQ, everything's kind of flat, and we're going to go ahead and start mixing the track.